GetLowered, thanks again for tuning in to yet another video. Memphis coming at you live from yet again San Jose, California. I'm going to give you guys my first impressions of the external breather kit from Trask. Of course, this is for their Assault air breather that they offer, which is, I mean, you know what? It's a good-looking air breather. It is. I really like the way it looks. But is it worth, you know, the $500 plus the $150 for the external air breather? You know, that adds up. Plus taxes, shipping, all that good stuff. You're looking at $700 for an air breather. You guys let me know in the comments, is that worth it? Like I said, it's a good looking air breather. Does it perform better than my SNS Stinger? Does it perform better than my other SNS breathers? Does it perform better than the ventilator? Man, you know, I think it's up to par with the SNS. The SNS on its own, it's a great air breather, air filter. It's beautiful. I really like the look. I have it on my Sportster. I've had it on my Lowrider S. I still have it. I'm thinking about using the Stinger, the Stealth Stinger cover mini teardrop on my Sportster. So I'll probably be uploading that video in case you guys are wondering. But anyways, man, you know, it's been doing its job. All right, it's been keeping the oil out of my intake, out of my air breather. If you guys remember, maybe about 2 years ago, I think that was my only complaint, my only gripe with this air breather. It was the glass was always covered in oil all the time, and it just didn't look right. It looked dirty, it looked nasty. Of course, I mean, it's a, you know, see-through glass, plexiglass. You're supposed to see through the air breather and see the inner workings of the throttle body, which looks neat, it looks cool, but it just doesn't have that effect when the whole glass is covered in oil. Now it looks good, now it looks right. But at what cost? $150. You know what? When they first announced this, when they first released it, I knew it had flaws. That's the reason why I never purchased it. That's the reason why I never bought the original kit, which is just the you know, the spacers with the plugs, whatever you want to call these, the breather spacers. I guess you could call them that. I'm not sure what they're called. But yeah, it was just that and the tubing, and that was about $80. And I knew that just wasn't right. I knew that wasn't going to fix it, because the vacuum, of course, of the intake, it's going to find its way in there. Not all of it, but some of it. So I never bought it. And I think later on, you know, Trask did do right with their customers, and they offered this backing plate, which is what you needed from the get-go. This is their turbo backing plate. So they offered that to the people that actually bought the original kit. So you know what? That's 100% good on them. They did right by their customers, and by them providing the backing plate at no extra cost. You know, it in the end, it was my loss. I should have bought the other one, knowing that they were going to eventually fix it. But who knows? I mean, nobody really knew what they were going to do. There was complaints, and I'm glad they were able to offer that fix. I believe from the get-go they should be offering this option. But I mean, I don't know if it's EPA. I don't know if it's, you know, other things. This kit is difficult to get in California. Let me tell you guys that. That's for sure. Trask will not ship anything to California. This was, this was, you know, this took some time to get shipped to California, guys. All right, it is what it is. You can modify anything on your body, but you can't modify your bike in California. It needs to be 50-state legal. I do have a 50-state tuner. I mean, I'm not gonna get into it, but anyways, you know what? It looks pretty good overall. It's been performing as it should. Like I said, I've already made a video about how this bumps into my shin. If you have forward controls, this is going to be a problem if you're looking at buying this air breather. And if you saw my install video, you could see that you could actually flip this 180 and it still works. You could flip this 180 and it moves you see this portion of the air breather, it moves it over here. So you buy yourself about an inch and a half of clearance. You will be able to see the sensor, your throttle sensor, which is this right here. I don't know, it's getting dark out here. I just got off of work. I don't have a lot of time to motovlog anymore because of the summer's almost over. Anyways, the only con of moving your filter forward, this is more visible, the sensor. So I don't mind it too much. I'm 5'7". I don't have long legs, so my shin barely taps the air breather. Not a big issue, but like I said, that might be a problem for some of you guys out there, especially if you have forward controls. I would say avoid this air breather. If you're planning on getting forward controls, avoid this air breather. Yeah, so that's that. Overall, 150. If you have the Trask salt air breather and you don't want oil on your pistons, on your intake, on the inside of your cylinders and on the inside of your jugs, if you don't want oil, then I guess you're gonna have to cough up the 150 because you already spent $500. The only thing you could do is get the S&S kit and then watch my video on how I made my own external breather for $40. So on that note, before we finish this video, I do have the Czech M8 transmission cover for this bike. So that's my next installation for the bike. I'm looking at a couple things for the bike for my Lowrider S. You know what, I'm not going to talk about it because right now I'm just doing a lot of blah blah blah, and I'm not pulling the trigger on what I want to do with it. But anyways, the Czech M8 Trask transmission cover vented. I'm looking at installing that probably this weekend. I just don't have time, guys. My days off are now being spent, taking care of my family. So what I was thinking, I was thinking about moving my little tubing here that I have for my external air breather, which is this over here. This is not sold from Trask, so heads up. The Trask external air breather kit only provides the mounting, the back mount plate, and the spacers, which are these fellows right here. So this is all you get, and then you also get the tubing, but you don't get a cash can. You don't get this little filter down here. You could get this for about $14. I'll look for it on my Amazon. I'll provide the links, but you could get that for $20. So it's $150 plus the 20. So now you're looking at $170. Like I said, you don't get a catch can. You can buy the catch can from DK Customs. You could also buy it on Amazon, but that runs you about $60 to $70. So this adds up quick. So what I'm thinking, I'm gonna cut this off. I'm gonna cut off this little filter that I have here. It's it's a little bit covered in oil. It's not too bad, and I'm gonna move that to my M8, to my Czech M8 transmission cover. I'm gonna move that over there, and I'm gonna use a Y connector. So I have a T-bar connector right here. This is a T-bar, so I'm gonna use a Y, and then I'm gonna float that. I'm gonna try this out. I'm gonna use that and connect it to my transmission vent cover, kind of like what you see with Laidlaw's performance build. I believe it was the Road King. I've already mentioned it in another video. I'll use his footage so you guys can see what I'm talking about. He has a different air breather, a different air cleaner, but it's kind of like this glass. I believe he has it connected to his transmission vent. I think he's got one on that build. But I don't know, you guys let me in the comments. I know some of you guys were mentioning you guys used other alternatives. What was it? I think one of you guys mentioned using the transmission cover and that fixed it. Or oh no, it was the oil, the dipstick, the vented dipstick. Based off of the comments in the Facebook group, a lot of people don't really recommend that ventilation. They recommend the Trask Check M8. And another thing, now that I'm mentioning it, just one last thing. I know I'm going off a topic, but I did notice on the instructions for my M8 Check, my Check M8 vented transmission cover, they're recommending a slight improvement for 2019 and later models. So if you have a 2019, you know what, I'm gonna mention this in that video. Anyways, you guys, let your comments down, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. Overall for this setup, five something for this, 150 for the external breather kit, and then of course $20 for that. So in total, a little bit over $700. Damn! Yeah, you know what? I'm just rambling, repeating myself. Yes, stay out there, stay safe. Don't believe everything you read. Life's a risk. Get out there and ride. Later.